Hey, a quick review for you. We're going to talk about prepositions today because it's been a while and I don't want this to get too rusty. So quick review of prepositions. And I'm going to have a little silly friend on the screen helping out with this. You see the green worm. There's always a theme, right? So the theme this time is the little worm. He's going to remind us of some words called prepositions. Now right now he's in the corner of the screen, but now he is on the tan box, and now he's moving from being on the tan box to being beside the tan box, and now he is going down the side of the tan box, and now he is peeking out from behind the tan box and disappearing. So everywhere the little green worm goes is introduced by what's called a preposition. Your prepositions are those words that show you the relationship of a noun or pronoun to another word in the sentence. So what's his relationship to the tan box? Well, he is on it. Now, what is his relationship to the tan box? He's beside it. Beside. Now, what's his relationship to the tan box? He is going down it. And then his next relationship to the tan box is that he's peeking out from behind it. So whether we're looking at the word on or beside or behind or down, all of these are giving us information about where this noun, this thing, is in relationship to other things in the sentence. Some common prepositions to be aware of are the word from, about, above, with. These are all common, but the ones I just mentioned are very, very common. So from, about, above, with, and then there are several listed right here to be aware of too. I just want to see if you can find these things. And if you can find them, that's going to lead into the next thing I want to talk about. So let's look at page 15 in your book. You can mark it in your book, or you can follow along here and try to make sure you understand. If you already understand, great. So your book says to circle the preposition and underline the object of the preposition. I say just put parentheses around your prepositional phrase. So first, find your preposition. In your first sentence, it says a worm's dropping you or casting is rich in nitrogen. Who knew? Well, you're looking for one of these words. And if you're like me, you're like, oh, let's see, a worm's dropping or casting is rich in. Okay, so you can first put an open parentheses around the word in. Then after it, you have a noun, nitrogen, close parentheses. So you found your prepositional phrase in nitrogen. That's what I want you to be able to do. Number 2, casting provides a natural fertilizer for the soil. Again, you, but you're looking for your preposition, and you've got the word for. So you put an open parentheses around for, and then you end your phrase after the noun. So soil is the noun that comes after it. You put your close parentheses here. For the soil is your prepositional phrase. Number 3, we get the best fertilizer from red worms. This one goes back to right here. From is a very common preposition. So you should put an open parentheses around the word from, and then a closed parentheses around the word worms. From red worms is your entire prepositional phrase. Number 4, fertilizer of this type is called compost. Do you have any of these prepositions? Yes, we do, the word of. So you put an open parentheses around of right here, and then closed parentheses around the word type, because that's the noun, that's the object of the preposition. Now, what does all this have to do with anything? Well, knowing your prepositions and your prepositional phrases can help you to have less of a headache when you're identifying your sentences. So if you can find them and rule them out, you put parentheses around them, or you can even strike them out, you realize how they're working in your sentence. So for example, in number 1, if I had said, identify your independent clause there. Well, if you underlined a worm's dropping or casting is and stopped there, that's not your entire independent clause. Or if you underlined a worm's dropping or casting is rich and stopped there, that's not your entire independent clause. You have to include the subject, the verb, and its modifiers to include prepositional phrases. So in this sentence, number 1, the whole entire thing is an independent clause. A worm's dropping or casting is rich in nitrogen. All of that is an independent clause. One independent clause is a simple sentence. So if I ask you what kind of sentence it is, all of this together is a simple sentence. Number 2, casting provides a natural fertilizer for the soil. If I ask you, what's your independent clause in this one? Your answer should be, casting provides a natural fertilizer for the soil. So you underline the whole thing if I ask you to underline your independent clause. You would need to include for the soil as part of your independent clause because your clause includes the subject, the verb, and any modifiers. And a prepositional phrase, like for the soil, is a modifier. It modifies information in your sentence. So the whole thing is an independent clause. The whole thing is one simple sentence. Number 3, we get the best fertilizer from red worms. If I ask you to mark your independent clause, you would need to underline the entire thing. Don't stop at we get the best fertilizer. Also include from red worms because that prepositional phrase, it is a modifier and it's part of your independent clause. It's all one simple sentence. And number 4, fertilizer of this type is called compost. The whole entire thing, if I asked you what's the independent clause here, the entire sentence is one independent clause. It's got a subject, got a verb, and all the modifiers is one independent clause. It's one simple sentence. All right? Doing the rest would be good too. Numbers 5 through 8. They actually want you to choose one of these prepositions and write them in. But I just want to make sure you're able to identify your entire independent clause includes your prepositional phrases. And that's all I wanted to remind you of today.